welcome back. I hope you're excited because there's another episode of Frieren with the certification underway, the first trial going somewhat without a hitch. The various groups either catching the bird or dying, or seeing what they can get from the others. Still, having a duel as such, having Frieren maybe actually having to show her worth, her skill, rather than just kind of be passive about it. Are they going to regret going up against them? Let's just think that there's a couple of groups who have done well, not only to survive, but also maybe learn a thing or two. But I'd like to see those two up on the plateau, what they've learned, what they may actually be able to do, considering we've got some Earth Mage. I'm guessing they're actually somewhat strong together once they actually admit it. Quite a few characters, quite a few that are interesting to see, and of course not least a certain green hair. Let's watch some more. Anything within the dome stays unaffected by the world outside. And oh. Okay. We're going back to the legendary mage. Doesn't know how to act, so just follows her lead. But also actually getting a voice to go along with the face that we've seen a few times. Does the fact that the hall was empty at the end there mean that they've been sitting alone ever since they came and met them? Was that actually the present day? But as I was started off saying, with the rain hitting the barrier and everything and not making its way through, I wonder how peaceful that would actually sound, considering I like the sound of rain hitting the windows and the like. And I'm guessing that there's, with the focus on the other mages and the trials here, Frieren's going to actually pick up a thing or two that she might not have known. How would it feel to be praised for knowing a spell that she didn't? It is a impressive spell to create a little fracture of land like that without much effort. Considering he's up against such a does she have a comrade in arms with that old guy? Oh, okay. So student of a student. If Fran was the legendary mage, what about this one? And there's not a single one that they don't possess? Well, apart from new magics, I guess. You don't want to just be handed everything on a plate. And the fact that we've seen the aftermath of it, well, you seem complacent to be sitting here. Well, because they need the Demon King alive to not only advance magic, but not get bored. I get a thin veneer of frost and ice across the floor. Hopefully she's not expending too much energy and mana. Only one of them fighting? Did he expect so much more? Well, did they use all of relatively non-lethal? Well, what is ice if not a form of water? Earth magic seems to be quite fun. Does he have a somewhat good supply of extra mana? Great. You know, the simple offensive and defensive magic. So it doesn't need to evolve. Activation time, the amount of mana needed to cast, the nope. There's not everything they can actually protect against. With enough strength, they can burst through any sort of defense. Which one? Yeah. I mean, considering that she's sat right close to the edge of the precipice as well. I was going to say, if she can control from within. Yes. I mean, if Magneto can do it with the iron within the blood. Is this what his downfall is? Underestimating the two of them together. Where the fact that he doesn't means he doesn't want to put himself in a disadvantage. So can't they just sit here and wait, see what happens? No need to batter themselves black and blue. Yeah, and I don't think the battle of attrition is really going to go in his favour. Multi-layered spells, a flame vortex. I mean, it's a spectacle, if nothing else. Serie. Dropping more names just like that. Now, who's this someone? So, if it's Frieren, is it going to be the case of, yeah, this catching the bird and the mage trials were just one step? The real goal here was figuring out this barrier magic. Oh. Beams and barriers of light itself. How could she have possibly... How could she have possibly counterattacked in the time allowed? That's some nice dust. Time for a nap. I mean, there's no point in being flashy. You know, the only spells that should be used in battle are the basics. It's the one that she tried so hard to actually obtain. No need for magic on that one. You can't win if he's dead. Well, he doesn't need an arm or two, right? I'd be surprised if she wasn't. They know that she could, but now who's faster, her skill or... I like it was just a small apprehension. You're just gonna hold you by the scruff of the neck. Yep. He was ready to accept a non-lethal amount of damage. Did he want a pilgrimage back home? I'll just visit a grave. Okay. Nah, they're good by themselves. But also, after kind of hearing the story about wanting to reach the grave. She has a grand belief in them. Oh, it was her. Yeah, okay. Is she going to shatter the barrier itself? That's some fancy footwork. The back and forth of... Good, they're running sideways. They've learned. And considering one is only able to cast water magic, it's raining outside. All they need is a little help. What kind of... Oh, that is neat. Geometry itself was part of that spell. Is he going to change his expression once the barrier comes down? That's like the Simpsons movie. You may have heard it from legend. One that hasn't been seen in quite a while. Make yourself known. How else? So, having your spell broken, at least you'll be able to tell. Rain. She was always on the defensive. I mean, they'd have to be quite unfortunate if they can't beat you in the rain, if they control water itself. Also, his earth might be slightly worse for wear now that it's a bit damp. Oh? Can he swim? Or so, yeah, he might just get washed away over the edge. Yeah, it was a try. Did she just leave them to get battered by the waves? They need to get... Well, that's decent. They have to get somewhere safe. Keep the bird protected. Delivered to their feet. Or did he catch him? He's going to sit with them. He can't get rid of the bonds, so... Is this where like a bird just plops down in front of them just to have an extra level of... And not just take down the tree? I mean, it's binding the tree, so yeah, okay, sure. give up and cry. So they'll just keep going. There'll be someone that they can overpower. Oh, there's no point. Yeah, okay. Blame the teacher, not the student. Yeah, you can direct your complaints to her. There's a plethora of small spells that she knows. The very quick defensive stance. So these small team bonds that they have formed here. Well, that is if he's actually there in the first place. Whereas all they have left. I'm not sure why. Well, I'm out anyway. I'll just try again in a few years. How much are you willing to pay? Unless any of them has some sort of revivification magic. Yeah, but are they just going to attack nonchalantly? This is all about imagery. We actually, in a mage battle, getting into fist fighting. Getting into fist fighting. Oh, not. Uppercut to the jaw. Now that they can relax a little. She's still, protecting herself just in case those spells are used. Why was that? Why was that bird so fine with his ass? How many started off? But knowing that they both passed with nary a scratch, if they. Stark. He's having the time of his life away from them. Who knew life could get this good? At least they left him with some pocket money to be able to go to the bar. I do like how he wasn't forgotten. But now that this leg of the journey is done, they've passed with flying colours. They've not only caught the bird and lived to tell the tale, but learned a thing or two along the way. And is Ubel going to appreciate Fern's style with, Frieren's teaching a little more? So you're boring. You only use a classic offensive magic. But that's not all that she holds. It's not all the cards that she holds. Sharing. What do we do? But with the barrier smashing down, having this master's master now be re-aware of Frieren's presence, they're going to make themselves known. Is the next trial going to be interrupted slightly? But also, these small team bonds that are now going to be pulled apart because they'll be, well, either it's now a free-for-all, or, just shifted and changed who they're working with. The idea of magic being a visualization, anything you can imagine. I mean, anyone with a strong enough creative side or sense of imagination can really be unbeatable here. Even if they don't have the mana to actually do it, they can at least give the hinters towards the ones who can. And the idea that I've been sitting here in this room for eons, collected up every scrap of information about any spell in existence. Are they going to also abide by the way that Frieren was taught? Or is any magic up for grabs when it comes to battle? Also, a question about Richter. After that entire fight, sure, he's been out of mana and therefore can't do anything, but are we going to fix the landscape? Remember, there's now this giant shift in geology. No, we just leave it there? Alright, it's now a landmark. And why was it that when asking about potential magic that Fern may know, the one that she came out with was the spell to be able to see through clothing? Why was that one the forefront on her mind? Has she been practicing it in secret? Can't let Stark though. Has she been practicing it in secret? Just can't let Stark know. But like I said while we were watching it, the fact that the challenge and collecting and protecting the bird was secondary. Frieren's real interest here was analysing the barrier. Not only to learn a bit more of how it is erected, how it's maintained, but also to help her teammates. Come on now, she's fighting at a disadvantage, that's not fair. Need to even the playing field a little. And I was actually starting to wonder if we could see the adventures of Stark while he was left alone and not part of all of this adventure. Now I really realised that no, he's probably just been sat there for a good number of hours, if not just asleep. It seems like an actually good existence. But there's plenty more for him to get involved in the future. Just need to sit tight for a little longer. And I wonder, now that the barrier has been destroyed, is there going to be a massive kerfuffle trying to get it re-put up? And they're going to have to shift how the first mage trials are done permanently because of it? Or is Frieren going to be nice and, don't worry, I broke it, I'll fix it for you? But definitely getting the acknowledgement of the one who taught her master. How are they now going to become involved in the story? I don't think they're going to be sat on their laurels for much longer. Not now that Frieren has shown her hands. Thinking about the future and what it may hold is interesting. The world is our oyster, as long as we can imagine it. The power of magic is unfathomable. But the main question is, how many more lessons can be learned? I feel like there's a flashback coming on. So before that happens, let me know if you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing. But for now, give yourselves a bit of rest, because I hope to see you for the next one. My patrons really are the inexhaustible defensive magic that keeps my channel safe. And so if you would like to imagine a world where we can actually just enjoy some anime together, consider joining onto my Patreon as well. And alongside the likes of Noku, Sao, Dolchfan, Guado, Kite, Raywin, Wolfie Sensei and everyone else, we may not be swept away by the tide.